Hi, and welcome back to the series of reviewing the book Deep Work by Cal Newport. So, I'm Nadeem, and in this channel, we talk about personal growth and self improvement related stuff. In the last videos, we had talked about the introduction part and also discussed the first two chapters from the book. And in today's video, we will talk about chapter 3, which is Deep Work is Meaningful, and also discuss the first rule of deep work, which is work deeply. So, talking about the third chapter, which is Deep Work is Meaningful. In this chapter, Cal Newport explores why deep work is inherently meaningful by presenting three arguments: neurological, psychological, and philosophical. The neurological argument explains that focusing on challenging and meaningful tasks allows the brain to release feel good chemicals, creating a sense of satisfaction and fulfillment. The psychological argument highlights that deep work fulfills our inherent need for purpose and accomplishment, resulting in a greater sense of personal fulfillment as compared to what you get from shallow tasks. And philosophically, Carl contends that by dedicating time to significant focused work aligns with our inherent pursuit of meaningful life, allowing us to make substantial contributions and achieve a deeper sense of impact and value. Thus, deep work is not just about productivity, but also about enhancing our overall sense of purpose and satisfaction. So, the key lesson is that prioritizing deep, meaningful tasks is crucial for achieving long term satisfaction, purpose, and impactful contributions, both in personal and professional life. Now, getting on to the rules of deep work and talking about the first rule, which is work deeply. This is probably the most comprehensive chapter of the book, and in this chapter, Cal Newport delves into the strategies that enable individuals to perform deep, focused work. He emphasizes that in order to truly harness the power of deep work, one must consciously decide on their depth philosophies, which is a strategic approach to fitting deep work into their life. Carl introduces four main philosophies of deep scheduling, each tailored to different work style and life situations. The first one is the monastic philosophy. This approach advocates for eliminating distractions and avoiding shallow work entirely. It requires setting strict boundaries around your time and environment, minimizing social obligations, and focusing solely on meaningful tasks. By creating an almost monk like existence free from interruptions, you can achieve a state of profound focus. Carl points out that while this philosophy can lead to incredible productivity, it's often difficult to implement because of the demands of modern life. However, for those who can adopt it, it can yield incredible results. The second one is the bimodal philosophy. For those who cannot commit to monastic lifestyle, Carl suggests bimodal philosophy. This involves designating extended periods that can be days, weeks, or months strictly for deep work while leaving the rest for everyday obligations. This method ensures that you have ample time to immerse yourself in complex projects without sacrificing the rest of your life's demands. The third one is the rhythmic philosophy, which focuses on building a regular daily habit of deep work. Instead of isolating long periods for focused work, the rhythmic approach integrates deep work into your daily routine, making it a non negotiable part of your day. By setting a consistent schedule, such as working deeply every morning or at a set time every evening, deep work becomes as habitual as brushing your teeth. And lastly is the journalistic philosophy for those individuals with unpredictable schedules. This method involves taking advantage of any available time to engage in deep focused work, regardless of how brief or scattered these opportunities might be. Carl notes that this philosophy requires significant discipline and skill as it demands the ability to transition rapidly into a deep work mindset. In addition to choosing a scheduling philosophy, Carl advises executing like a business. So, here he introduces some rules from the book The Four Disciplines of Execution. These four rules he calls 4DX is a framework to manage and maintain deep work. The first rule is focus on the wildly important. Carl emphasizes the importance of selecting the most crucial tasks to concentrate on. By narrowing your focus to 1 to 2 key objectives, you can channel your efforts more effectively, preventing the dilution of your mental energy. So instead of trying to do everything, you should choose 1 to 2 goals and work on them. As it's well said that you can do anything but you can't do everything. The second discipline is focus on the lead measures, which says focus on the activities that drive the desired outcomes, which means instead of focusing directly on goals, you should focus on the process which leads to those goals. The third discipline is keep a compelling scoreboard. Carl suggests creating a simple yet effective scoreboard to keep track of your daily deep work hours. Keeping a visual record of your progress provides motivation and helps maintain focus. Finally, the fourth discipline is create a cadence of accountability. Carl underscores the value of regularly reviewing your progress. By setting aside time to regularly evaluate what's working and what needs adjustment, you create a feedback loop that aligns you with your goals. Towards the end of the chapter, Carl Newport discusses the concept of being lazy and the importance of downtime or conscious shutdown period. He stresses that this isn't just a general rest, but a deliberate decision to stop all work related thoughts and activities after a set time each day. This evening shutdown, he argues, is crucial for high performance. Carl presents 3 key reasons for incorporating this evening downtime into one's routine. The first one is downtime aids insights. Carl explains that some of our best ideas emerge when the mind is at rest. By allowing yourself moments of relaxation, you create a space for creativity and problem solving, which might not arise during the periods of intense focus. The second reason is downtime helps recover the energy needed to work deeply. So Carl likens this with physical training. Just as athletes need recovery time to build strength, so do knowledge workers need rest to maintain peak performance. And lastly, the third reason is the work that evening downtime replaces is usually not that important. So replacing that shallow work with rest so that you can work more efficiently the next day makes it a valuable trade-off. So the key lesson is that there is no one-size-fits-all approach to deep work. The right method depends on the individuals and the nature of their projects. However, by following the previously discussed philosophies and techniques, anyone can learn to work deeply, thereby enhancing both professional and personal success. And that's it for today. Also, I highly recommend you buying a copy of this amazing book for yourself. The link will be given in the description below. Thanks for watching.